Hi everybody, welcome to today's book review, and I'm going to be doing a sort of special book review because the book Rashomon it's not one book. It's not like one story and that's the whole book. It's actually 6 different stories with completely different characters, completely different settings, etc. You get it. So this book is, it's very spontaneous. I just found it today and I thought, why not just go read it? So I read it and I have to say it's very interesting. This is a worldwide classic, extremely popular book, very famous. Partially because there was a movie called Rashomon by Akira Kurosawa, which is a Japanese filmmaker that he made about the movie, which made this book really famous. The author committed suicide at the age of 35. So that was a bit of a tragedy, but the book lives on forever and it is a great book. So without further ado, let's get straight into a book review. So Rashomon is basically a lot of stories. I'm going to highlight my favorite stories. What are they about? What is the meaning in those stories? Which is a really important part of this review. What I like about these stories, the way they're told, what are the messages inside, and how we can learn from these stories. Okay, so first, my favorite stories, there's one specific story called Rashomon, and I'm going to start with that one. So there's a man, a homeless man, he's a servant, but his master moved away from the village after a certain tragedy struck, and so he's left without his job. And then he goes underneath the Rashomon Bridge, which is a bridge located in Japan. It's actually a physical location, I think you could still see it. And he finds dozens of corpses and dead people everywhere. And he finds this old lady taking hairs from the dead people's corpse. And he's like, why are you doing that? Why would you? I mean, it's sort of, as part of the culture in Japan, it's really rude and it's not very good spiritually to take someone's hair after they've died. But this old woman was doing this, so he gets really angry at this. It's just part of this cultural difference. And so he tells her, stop doing that. Why are you doing that? Stop taking their hair, right? And then she says, I'm using it to make a wig. And then he didn't know that. And then she continues, Also, I'm going to probably spoil some of the stories, but, it's sort of hard to do a thorough review of them without spoiling them in this kind of format. So, in the end, she says, I do it for a living. Just like this person I'm taking the hair from, she takes bits of snake flesh and sells it as fish meat in the markets. And she does that for a living. I don't complain because she needs it to survive, just like I do this to survive. And then he gets mad at this, and so he takes all of his clothes and steals from her. And he says, well, I'm just doing it to survive. Okay, that's one story. Now this other one, arguably the most popular in the entire 6 stories, is actually the one about there's a robber, and then there's a noble lady and a knight or another nobleman, or a samurai as they were called in that time. And the robber decides to rob these guys, but he wants to marry the lady and dump the guy, basically. So he leads the man into a forest and then ties the man up. But the story is told from this is probably the interesting part about this whole story, which is it's told through the eyes of 6 different people, completely different. There is a woodcutter, tells the story through his opinion. The bandit tells its story from his opinion. The nobleman who died in the end tells it from his opinion, at least his ghost's opinion, and the lady tells it from her opinion, giving completely different versions of the story. So the end version, the bandit's version is, he goes there, the lady says, I want to marry you, but I can't marry you with that guy still alive. You guys have to fight it. Whoever wins in the duel between you and the nobleman and the bandit gets to be her wife. So the bandit kills the nobleman in the duel, but then already the noblewoman has ran off already. The other story told from the spirit, or the dead spirit basically, of the nobleman is the bandit took them into the forest, and then the wife told him, "I want to marry you, but you have to kill him first." The bandit has to kill them. The bandit denied doing that, so the lady ran away, and the bandit, fearing for his life, ran away too, and he stabbed himself in the heart. So there's completely different stories, and as I've seen I think this sort of reflects on the eyewitness and how it can be completely different stories, and we'll never know the truth in any of in this particular story. Really, it's impossible because you get different eyewitnesses, but at that time there were no like fingerprint ID and stuff like that. So it's basically reflecting how sometimes we can never know the truth. Another story in Rashomon is that of the dragon. So basically, in this story, the dragon basically this con man. He's a con man. He wants to pull a prank. Basically, it's not that big of a deal. But he says a dragon will appear in the pond in May 23rd. I'm pretty sure that's the day he said, or no, May the 3rd. Sorry. May the 4th be with you. That's a joke I remember everybody made on May the 4th. But anyway, back to the actual story. So everybody actually starts believing him because, you hear about this rumor, why don't I go and see, including even his own aunt. And when they show up, he finally sees a dragon that comes out. Only a blink, suddenly everything was there was thunder, it was raining downpour. Everybody went for shelter, but he saw the dragon come out. So that's one part of the story. That's another story. And I'm going to do one more story. And that would probably, let's see, there's a lot of interesting stories in here, but the 6 ones. Okay, I think I will do the other 3 stories in the next book review, so make sure you should keep checking out that. But to conclude, I would say the best story in Rashomon is the one of the bandit, the noble lady, and the nobleman. I think that absolutely reflects on there's a great lesson in it. The actual story, quite suspenseful because you don't know, it's like you have a different opinion here, you have a different opinion here, different opinion. The judge, which is almost, actually this is the one that Kurosawa made a film about, Rashomon. And in my opinion, that's the best story so far. But we're gonna explore the other 3 stories in the next book review. So I hope you enjoyed this book review. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.